In November 2018, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development and a Memorandum of Understanding with LANDnet Uganda held the first ever National Land Conference, coined as the Land Forum, to celebrate achievements of the land sector and to draw lessons for improvement. The forum, a biannual conference, was held under the theme The Land Act at 20, Making Land Work for Uganda. The Land Forum also played a major role in bridging the gap between the public and the land sector actors. This saw over 50 panel discussions that engaged the public. 25 topics under the land sector were discussed, including the land governance, land disputes, and land information systems. Withstanding the current disturbances and the conflicts of interest on land, a good number of Ugandans say the Land Act has helped people benefit from their land economically. To this, the Minister of State for Land and the Minister of Land, Housing and Urban Development, Persis Namuganza Princess, says the theme, Making Land Work for Uganda, is timely.
This theme is very appropriate given the many reforms government has articulated and approved in the 2013 National Land Policy. It is proper and fitting that citizens of this country should give due cognizance and priority to understanding and participating in land reforms because they do impact on everybody's well-being and development at large. Land as a factor of production is a source of livelihood for the majority: women, men, children, the youth, the vulnerable, and the poor.
Despite positive achievements of the Land Act in Uganda, land has remained a big challenge to owners, as most of them cannot easily exercise their rights to utilize the land. Some of these include conflicts which has led to loss of property, evictions, excessive damage to infrastructure and the environment. Minister Namuganza says these challenges have retarded the country, denying development.
Whenever these calamities occur, they take us many years back in our efforts to provide sustainable land management practices for Ugandans. Our country has also witnessed new land access patterns and land administration, which have partly contributed to a generation of land conflicts. The Land Act was able to address some, but others may call for reform if we are to have a prosperous Uganda.
The UN Women Country representative expressed concern over the lack of recognition of women's land rights, saying these are forced by negative customary practices that conflict with statutory laws and exacerbate unequal access, control, and ownership of land in the country. A solution to these challenges will therefore require a specific joint remedy by all land stakeholders that include government, civil society, the community, the media, and development partners. The women now call upon government to move faster in amending the Succession Act to do away with clauses that discriminate against women, among others.
We call upon government to expedite the amendment of the Succession Act to remove clauses and provisions that discriminate against women, and that are contrary to the Constitution of Uganda. The first reading of the Succession Amendment Bill 2018 on the floor of Parliament last week is a significant step in the right direction, and we congratulate government for that. Secondly, to undertake the review of all policies and statutory legal instruments and customary frameworks on land tenure to address all forms of discrimination in access, control, and ownership of land, and promote women's ownership or co-ownership of land.
Namuganza expressed the need for land reforms, saying that if these are not introduced, customary owners and tenants may suffer tenure insecurity and eviction.
Some key issues that require reflection of the Land Act include unlawful land evictions, which have adversely affected the majority and most vulnerable categories of people in the communities. If left without introducing reforms, customary owners and tenants on registered land may suffer tenure insecurity and live under fear of being evicted, especially as the growing scarcity for land increases.
The other challenges the country faces include underutilization of land, which has led to land conflicts. This calls for massive sensitization of landowners to make their land productive.
There is a challenge of underutilization and under-exploitation of our natural resources because of use of poor technology, poor infrastructure, and lack of utilization of local and foreign knowledge. This has kept land unused, hence the need to sensitize the landowners to put their land into productive use.
She says that the country now needs a comprehensive land reform program to educate Ugandans about land issues and how to iron out land conflicts amongst their societies.
These conflicts are many and include human-wildlife conflicts, livestock, crop farming conflicts, competition over water conflicts, territorial and boundary conflicts, human settlement and environmental conflicts, mining and rural settlement conflicts, historical injustices conflicts, and landlord and tenant conflicts. These conflicts have persisted because of lack of a comprehensive land reform program to adequately address causes and resolve them once and for all through a systematic demarcation program of all lands in Uganda.
The forum attracted over 300 participants from all regions of Uganda, including diplomats, parliamentarians, land professionals, ordinary Ugandans, researchers, the academia, and the media. Conference participants had the opportunity to interact with the presenters through questions, discussions, and share their views during different sessions.
I guess all of you by now you must have read what is in this very great document. This policy is being implemented in a phased manner, and we have highlighted key priority areas. We have sequenced the implementation, and we had to start with some activities to kickstart the process of implementation. So the third component we prioritized was promotion and protection of women's sexual rights to land and access to land. As you are aware, women are the majority users, and therefore we had to prioritize this. Land disputes and land conflict resolution were also prioritized. You are aware that we are having challenges around this area, but we have done some work.
Social norms transformation project is a UCOBAG initiative intended to promote equitable land rights through transformation of discriminatory practices, beliefs, and norms. In this project, it has a course called the Stewarding Your Family Future, which stresses 3 actions to be promoted and practiced by men to become part of life of men. These actions, every man should be inspired to practice, seeing as they view a man as a good one, a wise one, and a just one. These actions, they are saying men should support land rights by supporting their families to acquire land equally. Men should advocate for the use of farm law and customary systems to realize land rights for all. Action 3. Men should promote gender equality in their families and their communities.
There's a plurality of legal systems. In Uganda, we operate an informal system alongside the formal system. And you find that sometimes we apply customary law, then sometimes we are applying the, and when it comes to the personal law, what we call personal law, where women's property rights are sometimes determined, you'll find that the culture becomes an overriding principle that guides the particular judicial officer or the person who's handling this lady.
The Constitution requires, the new Constitution requires that the people whose land is compulsorily acquired should have access to courts of law, but the Land Acquisition Act, for the most part, provides for the Attorney General and not the affected individuals to refer disputes to court. So our consultancy came up with a bill which seeks to repeal and replace the Land Acquisition Act to make the law to accord with the Constitution.
I just want to specifically commend John Berry for the amazing work, transforming of social norms. I have testimony that we had a land project in Mukona at grassroots, and we engaged men in the way you have demonstrated, and we have amazing success stories. My recommendation is to the Ministry of Lands. You have talked about we need to sensitize to change mindsets. My recommendation is that can we approach this way of engaging to get better and tangible and more meaningful results, in fact, maybe in a shorter time, because we have raised awareness for the last generation and we can only make so much progress. And the same should be true for other key players, other government institutions, those who work in courts of law.
Knowing that we already have national land policy and knowing the need, as I explained, to get better with the subject, do these guidelines attempt to address the situation of man at hand in customer tenure, especially where we know CCOs are one way we can secure marriage of women. So I'm interested, can I have some news for the women folk that you have also looked into rotation of titles, guiding the process of deciding CCOs this time around? Thank you so much.
And this program has been persistent since 2001. There is a scenario where land was surveyed by aeroplane, aerial survey, and the aerial survey overlapped on the non-cadastral. Now, when this land was being taken to a survey for an investor, it also took up part of the neighboring block. The survey reportedly was for block 99, whose boundaries we knew very correctly, and then this survey overlapped on block 103. Unfortunately, the members, the owners of block 103, had lost their family copy of the title, so they cannot make a legal claim. What is the procedure of replacing this title such that they can be helped to claim their land that was taken? And if it means coming to the ministry, we have all the facilities to assist them. What's the procedure? Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the time to go and synthesize other women. You have given me, you have analyzed my brain to go and teach others. But now, as a Ugandan, a citizen, I'm asking, as the papa is here of Land Commission in Uganda, as I'm Ugandan, say the struggles within us two parties, Teso and Karamoja, and I am a member of Peace and Teso Karamoja. Why don't we go together? I wanted all of this house to go Karamoja and Teso to make us to be sitting together because of wrangles of land. We came from Ethiopia as one, and now we are Ugandans. Why should we wrangle as one? I wanted to request you people to come and help us The colonials came there and told us we are humanism, but we are no longer humanism. Wow, right. Now, you people, I want a year numbers because if I go there, I want to synthesize the women to know their land rights. In 2009, there is some woman there called Esther Michael came with the Land Alliance, told me to go and synthesize the community about the land rights. But up to now, no one is coming to help me, to give me, to synthesize other communities. Where will I go? Come and help me as a Uganda.
The forum also saw the launch of the National Engagement Strategy, NES, for Uganda, aimed at accelerating the likelihood of results, increasing efficiency and efficacy of action, and providing a constructive space for action where diverse perspectives could be coordinated.
The National Land Engagement Forum or strategy is a part of the National Land Policy 2013. We therefore thank ILC Trachea for initiating the process. I therefore want to officially first launch this forum.
The NES strategy in Uganda was initiated by the International Land Coalition in 2016 as a platform that brings together the International Land Coalition, ILC members, and the land stakeholders to generate a collective voice to build a common strategy for engagement. The strategy is also meant to address challenges of coordination and capacity amongst actors to ensure effective participation in strengthening the land sector.
The NES has a number of thematic groups. They are land governance, land and investment, gender and land, natural resource management, and then capacity building of the ILC members as a cross-cutting issue. Choker as an organization it's kind of a funder of local organizations, it's a partnership organization, it's a capacity building organization. So normally it's not our role to front something like this, but we are facilitating that process for a couple of years until we can hand over all of that process to local civil society here.
The main objectives of NES include the establishment of a multi-stakeholder platform on land government for policy dialogue and knowledge sharing, enhance the capacity of NES to respond to current and emerging land issues and challenges in Uganda, and to influence policy and practice change through evidence-based advocacy. The forum held different sessions with different presentations and discussions involving the ordinary people. This included a session on the Land Act 1998 and the National Land Policy of Uganda, touching the areas of law review of the 16 laws related to tally with the Land Act 1998 and the National Land Policy, implementing the National Land Policy, the growth of civil society engagement over land in the last 20 years, and grassroots participation in implementing the land reforms. A session on the plan for the Mile Land session held under a theme, Strategies to Resolve Mile Land Impasse, with a focus on improvement of land government to increase productivity of small-scale farmers on private Mile land, which looks at the project concepts and the approach. A project approach promoting peaceful coexistence between landlords and tenants on private Mile land, sharing experience and lessons learned from the pilot implementation of the improvement of land government in Uganda, the ILGU project in Matiana, Mubende, and the Kasanda districts, and the National Land Policy Implementation Action Plan, Strategies for Mile Tenure. Plan for the lease session under the theme tends to property rights in light of the constitutional reforms. In a brief, this session indicated that in 1995, all land was public land vested in the state by the 1972 decree. But later, after the Constitution, 4 new tenure systems were created and land reverted back to the ordinary people. This changed the role of the land boards in issuing leases to the public. This session sought to address the implications of shifting the role of the former controlling authorities to district land boards, approaches on issuance of leases to customary tenure, expiration and renewal of leases, and the governing leaseholds of religious institutions. Buganda Chapamungalo was another interesting session and was discussed under the theme, the approach to tenure security in Uganda, a pathway to wealth creation.
The registration of such big numbers is an indication of the willingness of the tenants on Kabaka's land to verify ownership of the land they occupy and attests to the good relationship that the tenants have with the landlord here in Kabaka of Uganda. As a means of cementing this relationship further, Sub-Sector directed us to have land titles issued for tenants that have registered their lands of the Uganda Land Board. This directive will be effected in a campaign dubbed Land Title in Your Hands, that is going to run for a period of 6 months, and you will see the tenants acquiring land titles at highly subsidized rates, a lease term of 49 years, regardless of existing situations on the ground.
The implementation of Chapamungalo started immediately after its introduction, which saw the Buganda Kingdom initiate issuance of leaseholds of the estates of Buganda.
70% of the population in Uganda is involved with agriculture, and agriculture takes place on land. Now, if land claims are fluid, if they're not, if they're not verifiable, if they're not certain, then obviously that impacts on the way people are going to get involved with land, and the way people are going to get involved with agriculture. So we believe that this project will enhance productivity, will promote agriculture, and of course will cut out the rampant land evictions. So I'm glad today to launch the campaign dubbed "The Land Title in Your Hands," and urge every tenant on Kabaka's land to make use of this opportunity so as to acquire a certificate of title, which is the conclusive evidence of ownership of land.
The session focused on clarifying the mandate and the legal premise of the Chapamungalo. The other sessions of the Land Forum include the closing of the gender gap, urbanizing Uganda, surveys and mapping in Uganda, gender inclusion and plan for the local governance session, among others.